Hey everybody, welcome back to Mic'd Up with Amulika. I know you were probably already thinking of this, and yes, you did guess it right. We have another tennis player coming to speak with us today. The guest is someone whose name has been around my tennis world since I was a kid. We grew up playing the same junior tournaments, grinding through the same Georgia tennis circuit, and even trained at the same academy, just at different times, unfortunately. Our paths never overlapped directly, but they always ran close enough that I knew the kind of amazing person she is. Emily Surcey is from Cartersville, Georgia, and she's one of those people who brings warmth and calm into any space that she walks into. She had an incredible junior career and an even more impressive and honestly very unique college journey. She attended 3 different universities in her 4 years of college tennis. Arkansas State as a freshman, Mississippi State as a sophomore, and then Samford for her junior and senior years. And now she's pursuing her MBA at Samford while working as a marketing specialist in aviation at J.E. Dunn Construction. Her story is full of transitions, challenges, growth, and moments that shaped how she sees the world today. And that's exactly what we're diving into, the parts of her journey that people don't always get to hear. So let's get into it. Emily, hey, I'm so excited you're here. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. What have you been up to recently? Do you still play tennis?
So I play tennis when I feel like playing tennis. I get the luxury of being able to choose now after playing for a good 13 years, but I'm working full-time as a marketing specialist in aviation at J.E. Dunn Construction in Atlanta. And I just had a big move back from Birmingham a few months ago. So getting settled in, but it's been such a great experience so far, getting to turn another page and step into a new chapter.
That's awesome, honestly. And, I can't believe it's been so long. And it's so funny how, we grew up in the same tennis world, but we never actually trained together. I think
Right.
I remember we played some junior tournaments and I think we played maybe once in college. I don't know. But then I also came to realize that you trained at Old Town and I trained there, but I had left by the time you had come. So
Yeah, I did.
All of that is so funny.
Yep. Yeah. Small world, but big world. Tennis in Atlanta is so big, but it's, you can pass somebody in a tournament and then pass them again in college and you reconnect, but it's definitely it was a fun time.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that's such a Georgia thing though. Like everybody's like connected. But sometimes you never even ever hit with each other.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, you're doing a master's degree now.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can agree with me because I'm doing a master's degree too. And it's very different to the undergrad experience. I don't know if it's just because, we played at the collegiate level, with tennis, or if that's just like a universal experience with everybody just feeling like they're old now in grad school. But for me, it's a completely different experience. But how is it treating you?
It's good. I feel like one of the big reasons why I wanted to pursue my MBA was to feel like I could be a normal student without the hectic environment of having to play Division I college tennis and be a student. So I don't feel like I have that because now I'm working a full-time job and doing the MBA, but it's definitely good. I feel like I have a thirst for knowledge, and I am getting my master's in business administration from Samford University, my alma mater. Shout out Bulldogs, but it's been really fun. I think the biggest thing about the MBA is the relationships that you make with your professors, and I'm doing it fully online, so I don't get the pleasure of seeing people in person and creating classroom relationships. But I would say that it's definitely it's a fun and keeps me busy. Definitely busy degree. Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. So how did you know it was time to shift from, the tennis world into this next chapter? Did you always knew that you wanted to do a master's degree, or was it just something that you kind of, just went with the flow?
I felt pretty called to it. Considering again, like I I love learning and I love that classroom environment. So when I was working at Samford post-graduation in fundraising and athletics development for their athletic department, I started taking classes through the MBA just as an employee benefit, but really started loving that environment again and felt I got that normalcy that I was craving for 4 years. But I would say it's just the benefit of an MBA to me. You get to, again, further your education. I can do things that I'm learning about. And I think that's the biggest benefit for me right now. But yeah, I feel like I always knew I wanted to continue at some point. I thought about a doctorate, but then quickly unthought about it after I realized what you have to go through. So not anymore.
I agree to that, honestly. I feel like grad school is very like less of school, more like work life culture.
Yeah.
Nobody's forcing you to be here anymore. And
Right.
don't worry, I've thought about doing a PhD too, but I think I'm ready to move on now.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome. I'm glad that you're, learning everything and, everything is just flowing the right way for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's any part of your tennis life that you had, or literally just like aspects of the game that show up in your work life now, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, I 100% see, and I know you can agree to this or relate to this, but the discipline that you get when you train, when you do things you don't feel like doing. I know throughout, junior tournaments or especially college, you don't feel like showing up to 6 a.m. lift. You don't feel like getting on the bus and driving however long to a tournament, but pushing through and doing it and then really reaping the benefit of it. And again, it was enjoyable, but I say like just discipline and an overall sense of, some days are going to be hard. Some days are going to be imperfect, but just like you lose a point, you're 1 point closer to winning another one. So I see a lot of parallels to playing a tennis match and treating it as a marathon instead of a sprint, and then viewing my professional career like, hey, I'm young, I'm in my early 20s, and I'm not going to be in executive leadership. I'm not going to hold that kind of position yet. So feeling like I'm working my way towards my goals, it's encouraging to know that I did the same thing with tennis and I can apply those lessons to my professional career.
Yeah, no, that is just spot on and I think we're so lucky that we played a sport like tennis out of all of them because, most of the time we could be winning more points and then we still end up losing the match or, something like that. Or, it's just a really difficult sport. And I feel like I see that, with my life as well. I can totally relate because I'm like, wait, now I feel like I have more resilience than like other people when, I just keep going and going and going and everybody's just stopping at some point. So
it's mental for sure. You realize the power of the mind and a positive attitude. And I struggled with my emotions on court. I was always pretty loud and in your face, but I see now, like I can take lessons too. Like, okay, how I handled my emotions on the tennis court, how I handle my emotions in a meeting or in the office space, and the importance of relational equity with your teammates, the importance of relational equity with the people you work with. It really does. It's just so, like you said, so many parallels and so many great things there and lessons learned.
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad that you shared that with us. Are you ready for the breakpoint question?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
I'm getting tight.
I didn't go too hard, I think, but we never know.
Sure.
So you transferred 3 times in 4 years. And that is something that most people don't understand unless they've lived it. I've transferred once myself, so I know it's nothing compared to you, but I understand a little bit of it.
Sure.
So what was the hardest part of constantly, restarting your tennis life every time you had to make that move? What was the hardest part about making those new connections, being the new one all the time? And what did those transitions teach you about yourself?
It's a great question. I it was exhilarating after each year because I transferred after my freshman year, after my sophomore year, and there was just something new every year. And so it did give me kind of a dopamine hit each year to transfer somewhere new. I was chasing all that tennis NIL money. Just again,
like there's so much, right?
Yeah, just so much. I just became incredibly wealthy from my years in college, but it was tough to feel like it took work to create community. And I think just as someone who, I'm a Christian, and being in church and being in community was really important for me. So that was what always really kept me grounded through those transitions. But when you join a new team, they take you in, you feel welcome. So you really do, that transition wasn't as hard, but just feeling like I wanted some normalcy and some simplicity. And after every year of going back and forth, that proved to be a challenge. But when I got to Stanford, I knew that was my home. The values and the education, it really jived with what I was looking for. So I view my time to answer your second question, at Arkansas State and Mississippi State as just a wonderful stepping stone. And I'm very grateful for the experience I had there, because I knew not only my education, but my tennis career grew as I handled those challenges and obstacles. And I'm incredibly grateful to my teammates and to those coaches that, it's not perfect at the end of the day. I didn't go into college thinking, hey, I'm going to transfer twice and play at 3 different schools in 4 years. But it really helped build me into someone who's adaptable and resilient. And sometimes I feel like at work, it's what you got to be. With my line of work right now in construction, you have to be resilient, and you got to be almost like a weed, just relentless and refusing to back down in the face of adversity. So that's kind of a high level view of that.
I love that, honestly. It's, and that's so professional of you to like bring it together and, say it in such a humble way. But there's so much that goes behind, the transfer process, like just for a usual, like, a normal person who doesn't play sports, and that's already a lot. And then, for a student athlete to transfer is like, you got to worry about the credits, and then you got to worry about, sitting out and all that. I actually wanted to transfer myself for a second time, but it just, NCAA rules were a little bit different when I was playing, and
you probably timed it right where they were still,
Right after I graduated, the rule changed.
But like free for all.
But that's amazing. I'm so glad that you shared all that. If you could go back and talk to freshman year Emily, what would you tell her?
I would say don't do anything different. The mistakes I made, the friendships I made, the lessons I learned, the victories I had, I know that it was all for a reason. And I'm very happy with who I'm becoming outside of tennis because of tennis, if that makes sense. So I don't play anymore, like I said, as much. I hit around every now and then, but I had some pretty tough back injuries my last senior season. So again, I'm glad to feel like I'm pretty much retired, but I do feel equipped to step into the next chapter of life, into another role as a wife one day, as a mom one day, and be able to provide that same insight to my children or, my community. And I have tennis to thank for that. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really great. I'm so glad you said that out loud, because there's a lot of people, it's so difficult for them to make that transition and to first of all, even realize that it's time for that transition. So it's amazing that you're, able to flow across these. I know it's not easy, but you make it sound so easy.
It's not, it wasn't easy. I think when I first stopped, and I know you can relate to this, is this perfectionist mindset. So it's just, we always had to be, as tennis players, on our game of recognizing what's wrong, right? Because if we don't make that, if we aren't playing chess at 60 miles an hour, we're getting beat. So you always had to make those quick in-game changes. You didn't have a coach always in your ear telling you what to do. So being able to be independent in execution really played a big difference when I'm deciding to transfer schools, what job to have, how to spend my time. And if your identity is wrapped up in tennis, like I feel like I didn't realize it wasn't until after I graduated. So it was like hindsight 2020. But if it is wrapped up, it's such a harder transition because that's all you know and that's all you've derived your worth from that. And it took a few months to realize, hey, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to learn like just automatically and make an in-game switch. So I think there was just so much learned behavior through tennis. And again, a good thing when used correctly. So I'm excited to continue to harness that usage.
Yeah, no, I totally relate. It's always a learning lesson in a sense, especially, with, even though you're not playing tennis anymore, you always are still playing in your mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it feels like it sometimes. Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so, it's again that, like, you got to do everything perfect mindset is like, it's hard to beat. And, I feel like I don't want to say I'm getting better at it yet because I'm still working on it, but it's so difficult. But I'm sure it gets a little bit easier when you do make that transition and you go, start working. It's like, oh, I already did the hardest part. So
yeah. Really, awesome. That's very true. Physically, mentally, you've done the hardest, thing that the 1% gets to experience, and so it does give you a sense of confidence to step into something difficult and not back down from it. I still get nerves going into meetings or interviews or whatever I get to do, but it's like, okay, how do I breathe? How do I use my tennis sports psychology to approach? And it's you just at the end of the day, I feel so incredibly blessed to experience that. Just feel equipped,
Yeah. Awesome. So before I let you go, I'm going to ask you to do something.
Okay.
So I would like you to say one sentence that you'd never admit or you wouldn't usually say out loud because it's not allowed to be said out loud in a sense.
Okay. Just something like I typically wouldn't tell people.
Yeah, just like, there's so many things that we say in our head. We're like, oh, but I would never say it out loud, but nothing like you don't have to like be, I mean, of course I want you to be, but I'm going to leave that up to you. No pressure.
I want to flip this and be like, okay, what are you thinking of? Gosh, I think bumper stickers are ridiculous. I think if you have bumper stickers on the back of your car, it's interesting. I've seen some in Atlanta that it takes a lot of me not to just kind of wonder about who's driving the Subaru, but I think I'm an anti-bumper sticker person.
Fine, because honestly, those things distract me too. Like, I started going into a loop of thought after that, and I'm like, no, especially not on like the 6-lane highway.
Oh, yeah, that was one thing that stood out. And yeah, I don't know, coming from a sports background, I typically wouldn't tell people this in the office because we have a lot of sports fans, but if you can't go to work the next day because your team lost and you're a 45-year-old man and your day rests in the hands of an 18-year-old football player, I'm like, come on, people. I get it. I love football. I love college sports, but I'm not going to cry in bed the next day because my team lost. Maybe be an unpopular opinion.
No, honestly, that's so real though, because once I came to Georgia, I realized like actual football culture, and for a moment,
yeah.
I was pulled into it. Like,
you were the one not going to work the next day, okay?
No, literally, I was like and I was like, okay, hold on, like it's not that serious. Like it's fine if I mean, no, it's not fine if we lose against Bama, but that's another conversation. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that too.
No, triggered.
Oh, but
yeah, that's my hot take.
That's fair. That's a funny one. I like that one. Very creative.
Thank you. Yeah, and again, I think it's even funnier with tennis because we're a non-revenue sport, and I know coaches would, I mean, be beside themselves, and I'm just sitting here looking around at my 18 to 22-year-old teammates like, we can't even rent a car yet. Like
It's not that real.
yeah, it's not that cheap, but it's easy to say that now, when you're graduated and moved on. Back then I'm, moping around the bus if we lost, but
Yeah,
I laugh.
it's a little
It's
different
funny.
now. I feel like every time we talk about this stuff, it's like I start talking like I'm so old. when I like it's only been like 2 years since I
2
graduated.
years.
Like, yeah.
No. So much life happens. I mean, I can think, I can't even name on, it would take more than two hands for me to name the amount of life changes I've been through since I graduated and hit my last tennis ball in a collegiate setting. And you just, yeah, it's a lot of life, but I still like to reflect. And it's fun I think when I get around other athletes, there's just this vibe. I don't like, for lack of better words, that where you just can just know, and you can just nod, and yeah, it's like the whole college experience can be just, yeah.
Yeah, no, that is so relatable because I am like, I have some student athlete, if you will, friends here, but
Yeah.
it's obviously different because I know maybe like one graduate student that's playing, but it's not the same anymore because most of my friends are, I don't know if I'm allowed to use this word, but NARPs. So,
The non-athletic regular person.
the regular person, yes. So
What do we say though? I mean, what do we say? I never knew what to say. Like regular students, where I'm a student. I mean, regular non-athletic people. What do you want? Like, what?
So I've come to know that the NARPs don't know that they're called NARPs because I use the word with my friend groups because I got a little too close, and they were like, "What's a NARP?" And I was like, "Oh, never mind. Like, don't worry about it."
Like, the cameras.
So funny. So before ending this, I'm gonna pass on the mic to you. Don't go
Okay.
too hard on me, but is there anything that you would like to ask me?
Oh man. Yes, of course. I kind of want to know
Let
the
me
answer to
plan
your,
this.
question that you asked me out of the blue about something that outrageous or egregious that I would not tell people. But I kind of want to be more creative here. What is the most recent embarrassing thing that's happened to you
Oh boy.
in
Things
public?
happen on a daily basis.
Like, this conversation actually, it's like, for me, it's like,
Oh, that's a good question. God, that's a good question. Oh, actually, you know what? I can't think of one. I recently, very recently, like a couple days ago, I was at Target, and I, was doing my usual grocery shopping and, whatever, going through the clothing section, and got in the line. I usually do like the self checkout, but today I was, going to the person, the cashier who, does
yeah.
it, whatever. I got in there and she, was really nice, having a conversation with me, blah, blah, blah. And then like the lady behind me was giving me like this weird look. And I was like, hello? Do you need something? So it got like, it was there was a lot of groceries. So I was there for a little bit, and this lady kept staring me down. And I was like, it was time. Like, I turned my back and I started staring right at her because I was like, what?
It's like, all right, here we
Is there
go.
something like on me? And turns out there was something on me. So, so there was like, I had like passed by this like, where, do you know where like the supplies are, like where you have like the glues and the paints and whatever stuff?
Yeah.
So I was there, and there was paint all over the back of my shirt, and I don't know where it came from. like, I didn't even touch the paint. I don't know where it came from. And I was like, is there an issue? And she goes, you need to check the back of your shirt. And I was like, what do you mean? And there was like, and I was wearing like a white shirt that day. And
oh no.
yeah, and there was like purple paint, and it was like a weird mix because somebody had opened the thing and just it came everywhere. And I was leaning against like the wall, and apparently it got caught on my shirt. And I was like, oh, this is great, because there was like a whole bunch of people behind her, and like she was being pretty loud about it.
Is there paint on your shirt?
And I was like,
and she just has like the paintbrush in her hand. Just like,
yeah, like free paint.
maybe she did it. Yeah.
I guess like I honestly don't. I mean, I wouldn't say that's like too embarrassing, because I don't get embarrassed that easily.
Sure.
I'm like, oh, whatever, like life happens.
Embarrassment's a choice. Embarrassment's a choice.
Yeah, but this one was, I guess, like recent in a sense.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. I'd probably be more confused than embarrassed, but honestly, if it was, yeah, like I've walked out of the bathroom with toilet paper and like on the bottom of my shoe, and it's like, at the end of the day, you're like, how do you like me now? Right. That's
Right.
what I say. But pretty going.
Right. Emily, thank you so much for being here today and for being so open. Your journey is one of the stories that I've always wanted to, show people. It, reminds everybody that success isn't always linear. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes, it's unexpected. And sometimes it takes 3 different schools to figure out who you really are.
3 to 4 business years, right?
Yeah. 3 to 4 business years, maybe more.
Yeah.
But no, you've always been someone who brings kindness and I don't know if I should say calm into competitive spaces, but maybe outside of competitive spaces.
Yes, that might be a good way, outside of competitive spaces.
I love the aggression on the court, though. It's just I love that. But no, it's so cool to see that, you've carried your life in a way that you're, I guess, in a way settling down now. I'm so proud of everything you've done. And
Thank you.
I'm sure that everyone listening is going to take something from your story.
Thanks.
But yeah, thank you for being on Mic'd Up. And to everyone watching, we'll see you next time.